All right, so this is Justin, and Justin belongs to one of my clients. He is I believe, 22 this year, 22-year-old Morab gelding, so a Morgan Arabian cross. And he and his owner do some lower level work, some lateral work, shoulder in, working on haunches in, some lengthenings, and his owner unfortunately is injured right now, so I've had him for a couple months and I just ride him twice a week. He lunges once a week, so he's not super fit right now, but I've been playing with him over the last couple months. And I'm really excited about him right now because on Friday we played with flying lead changes for the first time in his life, and he actually got one. He bucked through it, but he was clean. So he did do a flying lead change, his first ever, on Friday, and I'm hoping that we can work on that a little more today. But we'll just see what we can get. Sometimes after you work on it for the first time, they wind up anticipating the change so much that kind of becomes a mess and you have to go backwards before you can work on it again. So we'll just see how he does. But that was my main inspiration for pulling out the camera today and trying to video him, is that I would love to show working through those changes a little bit, just the very beginning of them, because no one had ever even, I don't think, mentioned to him the fact that that was possible. So he was a real trooper on Friday and figured it out and really thought about it and put in a lot of effort, and he got one. So again, we'll just see what we get today and go from there, but that's my plan, is to hopefully work on those. Just pick him up in the walk here. We're gonna spook at something behind us. Go boy, Justin. So he's just walked around on a long rein so far, so we'll do a little bit of walk work to warm him up here. Whoop. Go boy, make sure he's in front of my leg. Get him walking on a couple circles. He likes to be a little bit crooked, sticking his haunches to the inside this direction. The other direction he often overbends. So right now I'm trying to get him to bring his shoulder around and step his haunches out off of my right leg. Good boy, Justin. Little tickle with the whip on his right side there. Good boy. Just working at getting him really straight from the beginning, especially working on the changes today. Straighter he is, the easier those are going to be. Good boy. Got him to step out to the right. Now this direction, largely about the outside rein, keeping him straight so that he doesn't overbend his neck too much. Good boy. He's got a bit of a tricky neck to really get him through. He can tuck his head in and curl, but not really be round. Sometimes he comes behind the bit, sometimes he curls and kind of comes up above the bit, but just really trying to get him round and using his back. And sometimes when he stretches and goes around, he actually kind of curls himself into a little ball and comes a little bit behind the vertical, but in a very soft sort of way, and he winds up lifting his back a little bit more sometimes when he gets there. So I just kind of ask him to come down and stretch at the beginning of the ride and kind of give him the freedom to play with exactly what that means to him in that moment. Good boy. But there I start to feel his back a little bit more as his neck drops from the base of his neck. Good boy, Justin. Take him up and stretch him out in the trot a little bit. Same thing. I want him to be dropping his neck down from the base of his neck, trying to get these muscles here working. And again, in the trot, thinking about the straightness, making sure that his haunches come out to the outside. Good boy, and that I can move them really easily off of my right leg. Lots of changes of direction in the warm-up are good for all of them. Get him straight one way, get him straight the other direction, stretching out both sides and bending him. Good boy. There, he came up above me for just a minute. Just asked him to pop right back down again, pushing him forward into that contact, helping him find that stretching place when he does move forward into it. Good boy. Good boy. And there I feel him stretch a little bit more, loosen himself up. Stride opens up a little bit. Good boy, Justin. And again, always this direction, thinking, can I push his hind end out off my inside leg? Good boy. Really tuning that button up from the beginning. Good boy. And this direction, my main question is, can I turn his shoulder off my outside rein? Now, sometimes when I do that, he winds up falling in. Then it becomes my inside leg fixing that problem. I really want to feel like I can straighten his neck and turn his shoulder. Good boy. Warm him up with a couple leg yields here. Don't want him to lose any forward energy in that. Good boy. Good boy. Come on, Jay. Good guy. Couple of those the other direction, and then we'll get him picked up. I will give him a couple extra breaks today. Again, he's only getting ridden twice a week right now, so he's not particularly fit. But we just get in what work we can. Good boy. Then I'll shorten my reins, bring him up a little more into the frame that we're going to work in. Now, you see here he likes to dive down a little bit too low and curl a little under me there. And I find, come on, Jay, I find that, good boy, transitions really help him. So we'll do some walk, trot transitions here. Good boy. That's better. Of course, that was going right away from the camera, but we'll do a couple of those and you'll see that they help him come up as he puts himself together rather than diving down. But for that to happen, he has to stay forward through that transition, and he just wants to stop a little too quickly into the walk there. Good boy. Good boy. That's all him. He's also the sort of horse who anticipates a lot. That's why I'm not quite sure what we'll get today changes-wise, because he might start overthinking that really quickly here. Good boy. But that's a little bit one of the themes with him as I'm working with him these couple months. It's just to get him to let me ride him a little bit more and not feel like he's making all of the decisions, that he has to kind of yield the controls a little bit. Good boy. And sometimes he throws a little bit of a temper tantrum when I tell him exactly. Yeah, there it is. Saw that coming, Justin. He's just upset that I'm keeping him in that walk. And then he wants to stop, and I bumped him forward. He says, let me go and trot, or I'm just going to stop here. But we're not walking. Come on, Justin. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy, Justin. That's all, bud. Just walking. Nope. Hey, he thought about it that time. He wants to trot. I ask him to walk, and then he halts. And then when I ask him to walk, he gets upset. He just doesn't want to let me control the gait, the tempo, where we're going. And when I start managing all of that for him, he just gets a bit defensive about it sometimes. Good boy. Good, just trot, bud. Just a couple more of those walk trot transitions. If that doesn't work, not much is going to work today. Good. There you see he got a little haunches in on that one. Straighten him out here. Good. Good. There, he's walking for me. So go back up to the trot. Good boy. This time, I'm going to push him a little sideways into the walk, see if I can get a straighter one. Good. Good boy. Much better that time. He got a little upset about it, did his little head bob there, but it was a much straighter transition. Good boy. Haunches came in on that one, so pushing those out. Good boy. Good job, buddy. Tried to pull the reins there, so I just bumped him a little with my leg. Good boy. Pushed him a little sideways on that one. Got him to do a straighter one. You saw his little head nod of protest there, but I did get the straight transition. He's a character. Good boy. Oh, Justin. Good boy. And again, push him a little sideways. Good. Good. Much better, Justin. Just going to give him a little rest here since he isn't super fit. He made a good effort. Clearly, it was a little difficult for him to let me control all of that. So I like to appreciate the fact that he did in the end there. Just a quick little break here. Whenever something becomes a little bit of a battle, I like to give them a break right after. Once they decide to go along with my plan, just let him know I didn't want to fight with him. All I wanted was for him to walk without trying to stop and buck. And then I'll pick him back up and we'll go the other way. Good boy, Justin. Here he gets a little heavy pulling on me. Just going to ask him to halt. Good boy. Helps him shorten his frame, find that balance on his own. Good boy. Hold just a little in that. And do that transition again. Good boy. Much softer that time. This direction, little inside leg to make sure he stays out on my circle. Now he's feeling much more up in his balance than he started. We did some transitions the other way, so we'll do some this way. Help make sure he keeps his balance up through those. Good boy. Good boy, JJ. Now he feels like he's settling into the work a little bit more. Good boy. Wasn't thrilled with that transition. Just let him canter around here, then we'll come back and try that one again. Good. That one was better. He kept his balance up more through it. Now I want to make sure that my canter's balanced, it's adjustable before I even think about doing those changes. So I can go forward and back on the circle here. Come on. Good boy. A little too hard to get into that. Bring him back again. Good boy. And back. Good. And again in the canter, making sure, good boy, making sure I can push his hind end out. Good boy. That's where he trotted over there. As soon as I asked him to step sideways, he said that was just a little too difficult. Good boy. Good. Do a couple leg yields in the canter here. Oop. Got a little heavy at the beginning of that. Tried to run through it. Might have been thinking lengthening like the last long side. In these I need him, good boy, to keep his stride the same, keep his balance the same, letting me adjust him sideways. Nothing else changing, good boy. Liking that canter. A little bit of that the other way. I'm going to give him a little rest before we actually try those changes. Good boy. Now same thing this direction. A little forward and back on the circle. First I want him really straight, pushing him out off my inside leg, but making sure he doesn't overbend his neck. You see, this direction, you might notice, is his harder lead. Good boy. He has a harder time carrying himself. Good, good, good boy. He wants to get a little more down in the front. Good. Good boy. Ah. and a couple leg yield this way. There, he wanted to get a little low and run in that too. Just gonna circle him here, get him a little extra balanced. Good, good, good boy. There, he starts to carry himself a little more. Good. 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 Fell in that downward just a little bit. Not as much as he sometimes does, but I'd like him to just bring himself. Ooh, come on. There, I brought the canter back and he quit on me. So we'll go back, go forward again. I want to be able to bring him back a little. Good. Package that canter up a bit. And step it down into the trot. Good boy. Feels a little less heavy in my hand that way. Good boy, JJ. Well, we'll give him a rest and then I'll show you how I set up those changes since they're new for him. And we'll just see how it goes. That's all you can ever do. Good boy, buddy. But you see how he started off today being a bit stubborn about something simple like walking and just corrected him a little bit when he did do his buck, but just kept very patient at what I wanted him to do, which was just walk in a circle, and just ignored some of his head bobs and his silly protests and stuck with what I wanted him to do, and he gave that up quickly and came right back to work. So a lot of times things are just a patience game, and it went away pretty quickly. I don't think that, really losing my temper on him or anything like that when he was silly and bucked there would have helped anything. I like to just keep things as relaxed as I can. If something becomes a big bad habit, like he bucks every time I ask him to trot or something, we have to address that, but his went away quite quickly here, just being a little bit patient about it and consistent with what I wanted him to do. He realized it wasn't getting him anywhere to protest it, and then we went right to work. Check my recording here. So he's had a good break now. Get him put back together. We'll see if I can get that same canter that I had before his rest, and then we'll play a little bit. Good job, buddy. He's ready to go now. He wants to trot off here, just like before, making him sit in that walk, just the tempo that I want him at. Making sure he lets me move him sideways. Good boy. Always feeling that everything's really adjustable. Whoop. Asked him for the canter there. We just got a little racing trot. Bring him right back. Ask him again. Same thing. Come on, Jay. Good boy. Nice big half halt as I asked him for that, blocking that running in the trot. Got a nice transition up to the canter. Never want to settle for a poor transition, come back and do it again. Otherwise they learn to do them wrong. Now, I'll explain for a second what I'm going to do here. And take him up the quarter line. I'm going to leg yield him against the lead towards the center line. Being on the center line lets me turn either direction. If his leg yield goes well, then I ask for the change. So pushing him out. Ooh, yeah, he does remember this from last time. So he broke to the trot. I hadn't asked him for anything yet. Pick that canter back up again. Good boy. Only got it in the front, but since the whole concept of changing leads is new to him, he gets to feel smart for that. Good job, buddy. First time, he kind of remembered it was coming, panicked a little bit, broke himself to the trot, wasn't quite sure what was going on. Second time, kept the canter, did half a change, which at least is the idea that he's going from one lead to the other lead. This time, and come at that again. Give him just a little tap on the butt with the whip at the same moment that I ask him. See if that can get his hind end thinking about the same thing. Good boy. Oh, geez. Good boy, Justin. Big trip there. Good boy. Whoop. Almost took the wrong lead there. I'll come back and do that one again. It's okay, buddy. He's a very smart horse, and I think he really does like the challenge. He does also get a little frustrated when he doesn't get it. Good. That's why it's important to make him really feel those successes when he is making an effort like that half change that I got. Good. Good boy. Good boy. You did it, Jay. You did it. Good boy. That was really smart, buddy. Good job. Good job. Clearly he bucked through that one, but they just about all do when they're learning changes. That time I gave him that light little tap on the butt as I was asking him, made him think about his butt clearly. Leaped into the air, but he did come down on the new lead, so that's a flying change. Not a very pretty one, but the concept is there, and it's really important when they're learning changes not to get after them for that buck, because that's his effort. That was a change. That's him going, I don't know what I'm doing, but here we go. And it comes leaping off of the ground, but he did it. And if I reward that, then he's gonna really think about that and try to figure it out, and the buck will get smaller and smaller until he just does a change. But he understands now that the goal was to change leads in the front and the back. And if I start getting after him for bucking like he did something naughty, well, then that doesn't encourage the learning and the effort that he actually put into it, and then he's not going to want to change at all. So while he has a break here, you could see my method there is to do a backwards leg yield, I call it unofficially. But it's a leg yield against the lead. When I was warming up the canter, I leg yielded with the lead. So he's on the right lead, he's flexing right, moving off my right leg. Right leg stays the inside leg, left rein stays the outside rein, matches the lead. When I'm setting up this change, I leg yield him off my left leg. So he's flexing left, he's off my left leg yielding into my right rein. He's leg yielding against the lead. It changes movement versus lead. To the lead, the right leg would be the inside, that's the lead he's on, but to the movement I'm doing, my left leg becomes the inside leg. He's pushing into my right rein as the outside rein, so it changes the aids to be left leg as the inside, right rein as the outside. That sets me up to switch leads to the left lead. We're already on those aids, and just helps him be in a balanced place for that to happen. Makes it a little bit more obvious to him what I want. Good boy. Makes it a little easier for him to do that change. And let's play just a little bit here from the left to the right. Hey, buddy. Now he's just a little bit flustered. Hey, Justin. You're fine, sir. Good boy. And that's just a little bit Justin's brain here. He's learning something new. He doesn't completely get it. He made that big effort. He got a break. Now he's kind of excited to go again. A little bit frustrated, trying to, he doesn't know exactly what's going on. He wants to get it, but it gets him just a little bit stressed. I want to minimize the stress factor of that. Kind of play up the excitement and the enthusiasm. Good boy. But keeping the whole thing nice and relaxed so that and there he just grabs the bit for me. He's ready to go now, so that he is ready to be in a place where he can really think about it and learn. Good boy. Make sure he's off my left leg here. All my aids still have to work. And if I start to have trouble, then we just don't do the change this way. Good boy, Justin. Now I have a feeling as soon as I leg yield here, he's going to do something because he's anticipating a bit. Actually not bad. Good boy. But I'm just going to do that leg yield once or twice. We'll do one off the wall here. I would never want to ask for the change here off the wall because I couldn't turn to the right if I did change now. That would just be awkward for him. So just that leg yield. Get him thinking it's not always about the change. Good boy! Brilliant boy! What a good man, Justin. Good boy. That was awesome, buddy. I do really love this horse, that he just picks things up so quick. I asked for that one. A little bit of, again, butt height sort of change, jumped through it, but he actually went right when I asked him, which is pretty impressive for a horse just learning them. Oftentimes it takes quite a few strides for them to figure it out, and he's really getting it now. Again, they weren't gorgeous changes by any means, but he actually did one both ways. Last week when I did this on Friday, which was my last ride on him, today's Monday, so he had the weekend off, but that's kind of his schedule right now, riding twice a week. Last week we played with it both directions. We leg yielded, asked him for the change. He'd get a couple trot steps, and then we'd canter the new lead, and then we'd take less and less trot steps. Then he changed in front both directions, but not behind. And then he did one where he came up and bucked and got the change, just one direction, but I gave him a lot of praise for that, and we just ended on that. Didn't get one the other way. So today's already progress that we got one both directions, and I don't want to drill those and overdo it. I just want to keep the whole thing fun. He did it. He did do the changes. They weren't pretty, but that's just going to get better the more he does them. I'm not worried about that. So I'm going to end on that success and not drill it. We'll just do a little stretching out in the trot here. Again, he's also not super fit, and I don't want to wear him out till he's tired and make the whole experience a negative thing. Good job, Justin. Just a nice stretch here in the trot now. Good boy. I always like to start a horse stretching and a ride stretching. Good to loosen up all the muscles, let them stretch out after doing some more collected work. He likes it. It's a good mental decompression at the end of a ride. Still thinking about straightening him. Good boy. Gets his haunches a little in there, pushing his hind end out. But in all the work, collected, stretching, walking, even taking a break, I always want him to be straight. Good boy. Good boy, Justin. All right, then I'll just let him walk that out for a while. And that's Justin.